大家好, I'm Martin, and welcome to Short Stories, brought to you by the Taichung Keda Language Center. Today's short story is called Rapunzel. It is an old German fairy tale that was first published by the Grimm brothers in 1812. The brothers reconstructed this story from various sources, all of which had different details. However, in all of the different versions of this story, the theme is always the same. An overprotective mother figure tries to prevent her daughter from hanging out with a boy. Fairy tales of this type are referred to as Maiden in the Tower type stories in honor of Rapunzel. Well, I'm going to first read the vocabulary and vocabulary example sentences. Then I will read the story, and then after that, I'm going to read 4 listening comprehension questions. Okay, let's get started. Vocabulary. Childless. Childless. She never married and remained childless her whole life. Medicinal. Medicinal. Not only does lavender have a nice scent, it also has medicinal properties. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you accuse me of cheating? Curse. Curse. A witch put a curse on the poor boy which turned him into a newt. Condition. Condition. The contract explains the conditions of the apartment lease. Miraculously. Miraculously. The terminally ill woman miraculously recovered from her disease. Thorny. Thorny. Roses might be beautiful, but their stems are thorny. Severely. Severely. After eating stinky tofu, the man became severely ill. Banish. Banish. The traitor was banished from his own country. Vision. Vision. As she became older, her vision became worse and worse. Now for the story. A long, long time ago, there lived a childless couple. They prayed to God every day to bless them with a child. Eventually, their prayers were answered. The wife was pleasantly surprised to find that she was pregnant. The pregnancy was going well until the wife fell ill. She wouldn't eat anything, and the husband was worried that she would get sicker and sicker. He cooked her favorite dishes, but she still refused to eat. "But you must eat something, my dear," he begged her. "There is a special medicinal herb located in the garden next door. That's the only thing that can cure me," she said. This was terrible news to the husband because that garden was owned by an evil witch. If he went into her garden, she would surely turn him into a newt. He loved his wife very much, and so he decided to go into the garden while the witch was away. He went nervously into the garden. His heart was pounding and his palms were sweaty. He quickly found the herb and gathered it into his bag. Just then, the wicked witch came back and found him. "Thief! How dare you enter my garden?" she yelled. She was just about to put a curse on him when he fell on his knees and begged, "Please don't turn me into a newt. My poor pregnant wife is very sick and needs to eat this herb or she will die." The witch stopped to think. I will let you go on one condition. You must give me your baby after it's born. The poor man was horrified at the thought of giving away his only child, but he loved his wife too much to say no. He agreed, and the witch allowed him to leave safely. He gave the herb to his wife, who miraculously recovered in minutes. A few weeks later, she gave birth to a girl. They named her Rapunzel, and they were overjoyed to have such a beautiful golden-haired child. Unfortunately, their happiness turned to despair when they heard a knock on the door. The witch had come to claim what she was owed. She took Rapunzel far away and locked her in a high tower. The tower had no doors or stairs. There was only a window on top. Rapunzel was raised in the tower by the witch, who never told her about her real parents. As Rapunzel grew older, her hair grew longer. She also grew lonelier because the witch kept her in the tower and never let her leave. Every day the wicked witch came to the tower with food and drinks for Rapunzel. She stood at the bottom of the tower and shouted, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel would drop her long braided hair through the window. The witch used the hair as a rope to climb into the tower. One day a handsome prince was passing by and saw the tower. He looked at this strange tower with no door and saw smoke coming out of the chimney. He wondered who was in there. He went up to the bottom of the tower and shouted, "Is anybody home?" Rapunzel looked out of the window at the handsome stranger. She didn't know what to do. She was very curious about the man, but she was also terrified of what the witch would do. She decided to answer him. "I'm home," she shouted back. They then began a pleasant conversation that lasted a long time. Since it was getting late and she didn't want the witch to catch them talking, Rapunzel told the handsome prince to come back tomorrow. The prince came by every day to talk to the beautiful Rapunzel. She even let down her hair so he could climb up. Unfortunately for the two lovers, the wicked witch soon discovered the prince with Rapunzel one night while he was visiting the tower. She pushed the prince from the tower onto a thorny bush. The long thorns pierced his eyes and he was permanently blinded. As for Rapunzel, she was punished even more severely than the prince. The witch banished her to the desert far, far away. Many years passed. The blind prince wandered alone throughout the land and finally reached the same desert that Rapunzel was now living in. One day he heard a familiar voice singing. Following the sound, he found her. They joyously hugged each other, and after a while the prince asked to put his head on her lap to rest. Tears of happiness rolled down Rapunzel's cheek as she looked down at her sweet prince. As the tears fell on the prince's eyes, he regained his vision. The prince took Rapunzel to his kingdom, and they lived happily ever after. That is the end of the story. Now I am going to read the questions. Question 1. Why did the man go into the witch's garden? A. He needed to find a medicinal herb. B. He was hungry for some carrots. C. He was following a white rabbit. D. He was a crop inspector for the DOA. The answer is A. He needed to find a medicinal herb. Question 2. What was the condition the witch gave the man so that he could leave safely? A. He must pay her $500. B. He must return the herb after he is done using it. C. He must give the witch his only child. D. He must give her garden 5 stars on Yelp. The answer is C. He must give the witch his only child, because witches are obsessed with children. Question 3. How was the witch able to get into the tower with no doors? A. She climbed the ladder. B. She used her magic to fly into the tower. C. She jumped. D. She climbed Rapunzel's golden hair. I think we all know the answer is D. She climbed Rapunzel's golden hair. Question 4. How did the prince get his vision back? A. Rapunzel's tears miraculously healed him. B. He ate a medicinal herb. C. He went to the doctor. D. He prayed to God. The answer is A. Rapunzel's tears miraculously healed him. Well, that's the end of today's short story. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a classic fairy tale that I'm sure many of you have heard before. Thank you for watching. I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.